Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. My name's David Anthony Jackson. What's your name?
Is that your middle name?
Yeah.
Anthony
Did you not know
Jackson?
my middle name?
No.
What's your middle name?
Oh.
Is it a secret?
Oh,
You
can't
tell me
tell you
later.
that.
You tell me later.
If you suck me off.
This is not a good way to start things. But yeah, I'm Dave.
I'm Guy.
And this is not a regular episode. It's a, what did you call it last time?
It's a moose-boosh.
Moosh Boosh
Moose-boosh.
episode,
Yeah.
which I've not put that in the title of the last mini episode. I think I just said mini episode.
That's fine.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one day further down the track we'll think of a better name than Moosh Boosh.
I think it's a good name.
I think it's good. It's just a bit... It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit much.
Well, is anything we do here not weird?
That's true. Yeah, it is called Show Me Something Wrong.
There you go. It sounds pretty good to me then.
So, Guy, it's June 6th. Well, it's not today, but when this mini episode comes
I thought
out.
I just lost the week of my life.
But when this episode comes out, it will be June 6th.
Yes.
In a week's time, June 13th. Something very special is happening. And what would that be, Guy?
Well, David Anthony Jackson.
Anthony.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
TH, please.
I was just fucking hell, this guy. My new film, The Sound of Summer, will be released in America on June 13th.
Oh, nice. Who's putting it out?
Unearthed Films is putting it out.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped. So yeah, you were ever so kind as to suggest we do a moose-boosh
Little mini.
to help promote this. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about today, besides the fact that it's getting released.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know, the film is getting released in a week's time through Unearthed Films. So it is available for pre-order and from all your favorite shops like Diabolic and the other ones.
Nice. Well, we should come back to that after we've talked about the film.
Oh,
So
okay.
We'll get people all like fucking drooling and excited for your film. Maybe I've not really prepared much either, but I thought I would just ask you some questions and make it like a little interview.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. I have no idea
That's all right.
what
You'll
you're
be
going to
fine.
ask me.
Well, maybe just to like kick us off, maybe tell us a little bit about just what is The Sound of Summer. What's it about? What kind of film is it?
The Sound of Summer is about the hardships of Japanese summer.
Yeah.
And the toll that it takes on you physically and mentally, I guess, in a single sentence.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Very much based off my own experience of moving to Japan, experiencing the horrendously hot, humid, sticky, gross summers here.
Yeah.
And getting heat stroke.
Yeah.
Almost dying. But more than that, the impressions that were left on me from the cicadas out here. So in England, there are no cicadas. I'd never seen a cicada before moving to Japan. So when my first summer rolled around and I started hearing this like deafening
Screeching.
scream, and it is deafening.
Yeah.
I thought, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I kind of became slightly obsessed. But the whole point is like throughout the 40-degree heat, 100% humidity, alongside just this constant scream that goes on for months, I thought that is enough to make you go crazy. And that was the basis of my horror film.
It's funny as well, like the whole like we say cicada in Melbourne, Australia. I don't know why we've got a slightly different pronunciation.
I think that's how they say it in America as well, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah. But we have them in Australia, but I had maybe only heard them in smaller numbers, perhaps, and they're only out in the countryside as well. So I think when you watch like a lot of Ghibli films and like very gentle kind of Japanese movies love to set themselves in summer and have just a nice little sound of cicadas in the background. That's not a realistic representation of what it's like. I remember my first summer here. Because they just sort of kick off. Like there's just a day where they're all like, fucking hell, here we go. And they just all come out.
Boys.
Yeah. They're like, let's get started. And they seem to all come out on the same day. And the first place I lived when I lived here in Osaka was right next to a park with a massive tree.
Oh, wow.
That was full of cicadas. And the first morning, I remember the first time I heard them, and I was like, this is fucked. I can't believe that I'm going to be enduring this for however fucking long summer goes, where it feels like it's never going to end. But yeah, so I think it's like a perfect thing to make a nightmarish horror film about.
I think so. It's just such a, for Japanese people, it's just so natural. It's like they don't even think twice about it. It's just, it gets hot in the summer. Cicadas start screaming in your face for fucking months. So they're used to it. But I think for us as foreigners living in Japan, it was such a shock to the system. And speaking, like you said, about the Studio Ghibli movies, if you go out into the countryside or into the mountains, you do get the nice sounding cicadas.
Yeah, they've got different types depending where you are.
Exactly. Yeah. But the ones we get here in Osaka,
dirty Osaka cicadas,
are like big, fucking. They're massive. I think they're probably the biggest looking. The size wise, they're massive, and their scream is the most deafening.
It's awful.
Yeah. I when I did the screening, I think it was in Tokyo. Someone put a review up online in Japanese, and they were like, "Oh, I want Guy to know about the nice sounding cicadas as well, because there are so many nice types as well." Oh, and I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I do know about them, but they're not going to be the subject of a horror movie."
That's also so Japanese, isn't it? Where it's like, but. Like, come on, I want to show you the good sides.
Yeah.
Like, let me educate you.
Oh, dude, this other guy said that he hopes my film doesn't put foreigners off coming to Japan in the summer.
Oh, my God.
It's like, oh, guy's going to end tourism.
Imagine if your film actually ended tourism, comes out on the 13th, and all these Americans see it, and they're like, oh, I'm not coming there anymore. That would actually be great for me
tourism
right now.
Plummeted 50% in Japan.
The tourists are out of control at the moment, so that would be excellent if your film did that. So basically, in your film, you have a character, a young woman who works at a cafe.
Yeah.
It's a cafe, right?
Yeah.
Cafe, hostel kind of place. And she's kind of slowly going mad, perhaps, throughout the film. And at the same time, we're seeing the story of this guy who's kind of transforming himself, who has all these like cicadas that he carries around with him.
Yeah.
And all the while, we've got that kind of intense noise at the backdrop of it.
Yeah.
You made the very upsetting choice, bold choice, to actually fucking shoot this in summer as well.
Yeah.
And I know because I was there for 2 days of the shoot. So what was it, 2021?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
What was that like, shooting in summer?
You know what? I'm making a film about people's, like, hysteria, almost heightened senses of, like, intensity and their discomfort. And I thought you can't shoot that in the winter and bullshit yourself and be like, yeah, just pretend you're really hot.
Yeah.
And I got to shoot it in the summer where everyone's really, like, uptight and they're pissed off and they're uncomfortable. And I was like, that's going to come out on film. And it came out, like, way too much than I wanted it to come out because people were not happy with me. It was pretty grim. Not just the heat and the humidity and the cicadas. There were so many mosquitoes, man, as well. Like, I was out filming. I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I had to constantly worry about not getting heat stroke. And some of the shooting days were, like, 20 hours. Yeah.
How many days, what did it take to shoot?
I did 6 days with Kaori, the main actress, then 1 day with the younger kids, and then I think 2 or 3 with Han, the cicada man. Yeah. So I think like 9-10 total.
Yeah.
I think I just did 1 on my own, like just doing like the special effects on my own. But it was like a 10-day shoot.
What was so like shooting in the kind of peak of summer? What was the hardest day, do you think, out of those 10 to 12 days? Definitely
the second day of filming, which was the finale of the film.
That's the day I was there as well. Yeah.
Where everything kicked off.
Yeah. So just like as someone who was there, just to describe where it was shot. So if you've ever been to Osaka, the kind of south of Namba, there's a place called Shinsekai, which is, if you look up Shinsekai on Google Maps, it's like kind of the most iconic, like Osaka, dirty looking Osaka kind of place, right?
Yeah.
So we're in this very grimy, no longer being used kind of building, right?
It was set to be demolished, actually.
Right. Mm.
So it was set to be demolished and rebuilt as a guest house, and then because COVID came around, the plan got delayed.
Right.
So before it got demolished, I managed to get in and use it as a location. But it's a very old, dilapidated building.
No air conditioning, fucking full of hornets. Do you remember that? There was like a hornet flying around. And this was basically being used as the kind of, cicada man's lair, essentially.
In like 40-degree weather.
40 degrees, and it was so... I think it was hotter in that building as well, in that tiny space. You can get these things in Japan that are like these sticky ice packs.
Yeah.
We just had them like all over our bodies as we were filming, slowly going insane. Yeah, that was a pretty intense day.
It was intense. It was
a night.
Great experience, but fucking hell, yeah. That was still only the second day of filming, and I had another 5 lined up on the back of that. It was a brutal shoot, and I've never done a shoot like that before, like a long consecutive shoot. Everything I've done prior to this has been like off days here and there, you know. It was interesting. It was a good learning experience for me. Not one I was mentally, probably not physically, really prepared for. I remember when because we had the special effects people roll up as well, and you know, it's like a team of 3, and they just started unloading their bags, and they had all these props and severed limbs and things, and they're like, right, who's the first to get makeup? We're gonna have to change all these people, line up, get involved, you know, line up, we're gonna make you look dead. And I was just like, oh my fucking god, like I hope I charge my camera batteries. I'm not professional filmmaker, so this was by far the biggest like shoot I'd ever done in my life. It was quite intimidating for me.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. So that was like the second day, and that was kind of the peak of the stress.
Yes,
that's good, at least that it kind of calmed down a bit. After that.
I wanted to get it over and done with, so I didn't have to worry about it. If it was the last day of the shoot, I just wouldn't be able to sleep until that was in the can. You know?
So I know you don't want to give away too much of the film, but like, is there, looking back on the shoot or like looking at the finished film, like something that you're like really proud of, like when you watch it back now?
Yeah, I think like what we were able to do with such limited people and such a tiny budget, I think what we achieved is pretty good, if I do say so myself, the creator. But like, it was tiny. It was a tiny crew, tiny budget. I don't even qualify as a micro budget movie. It's a minuscule amount of what a micro budget movie would be classed as.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like, I feel like what we achieved with what we had, I'm pretty bloody proud of. And some of the scenes that, you know, like, I have a few favorite scenes, like the tweezer scene. I think that's the one that everyone kind of looks back to and thinks like that this scene is absolutely fucked.
Yeah, that is fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but like, it's disgusting. Yeah. I've seen the film, I don't know, like 5 times or something now, because I've been to all the screenings.
I have.
But yeah, that scene always makes me like cringe, and I love seeing it with an audience, because that scene, you can feel the like discomfort in the room as people are watching that scene. Yeah.
I love the build. I love what Microchip Terror did for the score for that. Like the way he managed to make the tone and just keep that tone building.
Yeah.
Obviously we have the obviously the visuals build, and then he did such a great job with making the music or the soundtrack score like work together with the visuals. And I think it's a great partnership, the two of us.
Yeah, I was going to ask a bit about him, because like I saw the film before his music, and it is like amazing how much it transforms it, and how like perfectly he managed to score that film. So you've worked with him on previous films as well?
No.
Or this is the first time?
Yep. So I met JY of Microchip Terror in Shows in Fukui's bar in Tokyo.
Yeah.
We were connected before through Facebook, and we just so happened to be in Tokyo at the same time one day, and it was like, hey, do you want to meet? And I was like, yeah. So we went to Shows of Fukui's bar and hit it off. And I think he is not primarily a person who makes scores for films. He just makes his own music. But he is an absolute film nut, loves the whole Japanese cyberpunk stuff as I do. We're kind of very much on the same wavelength. And he approached me. He was like, can I do your score? And I was like, oof. I was like, and I know his music.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the music that I normally listen to. And I don't know. And because he's never done a score before. And I was like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, have a look at this scene, see what you can produce for me, and then we'll take it from there. And I gave him one scene, and the first score he did for me, it was really like Tetsuo-esque.
Right.
It was like boom, tsh, boom, tsh. And I was like, what was that? Like, I can't do a Tetsuo riff-off. Like, we had to sound completely different. And then we had a lot of kind of back and forth and talking, and we kind of like became on the same wavelength of what we needed and what he needed to make for me. And then once it clicked, it was just absolutely perfect. And once again, like, I think it's the same with my last film, Difficulty Breathing. Like, the score, the people who I find to do the scores for me, they're a lot more experienced in their thing than I am in my own thing, filmmaking wise. So I was able to like kind of rely, if you will, on the people who were able to provide the scores for me to help me out in the departments that I wasn't that confident in doing myself, or didn't have the knowledge to do myself.
Sure.
Yeah. And even though it's still very much early days, like everyone is saying like the fucking score from Microchip Terror is incredible.
Yeah, I think it's like a balancing act with a score, especially where you want the person doing the score to do their own thing without controlling it too much, but you also need to get what you want as well. So yeah, I think you guys hit that, really nice balance with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very full on score.
I love it. And sometimes like he kind of, I think he was holding back. And then sometimes I was like, no, you need to give me more. I need to like pump it up. And then he was like, you sure? I'm taking it to these extreme levels, man. I'm like, let's do it. Yeah.
I also love like just on JY, because I've met him as well. He's not the man that you imagine who would make music like that. Yeah. He's just such a nice guy.
The sweetest dude.
Very sweet guy. Yeah. And then the music is just fucking crazy, like wild stuff.
Yeah.
And on you mentioned Shozen Fukui. So when you finished this film, so last year, right?
Yes.
You finished it.
Yeah.
Around like August? Last year?
Yeah. So I finished it in August, and then not like, I think 2-3 days later, we had the premiere in Osaka.
Yeah, so did the Osaka premiere, which was really great. And then you screened it in Tokyo, and Shozen Fukui actually came along to that. And is that on the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like a kind of like a Q&A
/ talk show discussion between us.
So that must have been pretty exciting for you to have Shozen Fukui coming along to that, giving his support, and he loves the film as well, right? So
yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I don't think my life is ever going to get better than this. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to achieve anything as good as this, we did the screening. He had not seen it previously, and I did that on purpose because I knew he was going to be the guest at the show, and I wanted to see his original like raw reactions immediately after watching it. And anyway, the film played, and then I was waiting kind of like side stage, ready to go up on stage and start the discussion Q&A. And Shozen walks in just after having it finished, and he gives me a massive punch on the shoulder, and he goes, "You fucking did it! You fucking madman!" Gives him a massive punch, and then I was just like, "Oh, this is pretty bloody good." Yeah, he seemed to react very positively to it. He said he enjoyed it, which was lovely. I was actually down in Tokyo a couple of months ago, and I went to his bar once again. and the main actor from Rubber's Lover was also there.
Right.
And so we were just chatting, all our friends were all just chatting. And I was chatting to my friends, and I could hear like Shozin and you'll say the actor from Rubber's Lover chatting, and they were talking about my film, or Shozin was bringing up my film. So I was kind of, whilst talking to one of the customers, also like trying to listen in. Yeah. And Shozin was saying like it was his favorite film that he saw last year, and I was just like, oh, that's bloody nice to hear.
That's great.
The person obviously who influenced me so much, my favorite film director, to not only watch the film that I made, but also enjoy it and then try to, praise it and send it out to other people as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Huge thing for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And that talk show is really great as well. So that'd be an interesting thing for people to watch on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so you mentioned like Fukui's like your favorite director and has been a big influence on you. But when I watch Sound of Summer, I can't, to me, see the influences so much. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like maybe it's like hidden in there, his influence. But yeah, did you think about that when you were making it? Like what was, how you wanted it to look and what inspired the way it looked? Or do you think it just came kind of naturally, like from watching his stuff or from other films or, yeah?
I never went into it saying I wanted to make a film like his or like someone else's. Because I didn't want to, to go through all that effort of making a film only to try and replicate someone else's film is kind of pointless, So even though like his influences are there, I think like it's not just his, I watched a lot of other people's films and I'm sure I have, influences from various directors and various arts and whatnot. But, yeah, it's that probably subconscious influence and learning how to do something. I think the thing that I probably took away most from Fukui's movies is how he's able to take a single scene and stretch it out for long times. And that's probably where I can see the similarity in my films and his films. Like a long scene with not much difference. Like there's not like any escalation in like visuals, but the scene gets stretched out for a long time. And I think that's probably what I took away from him the most. That wasn't saying that I put those kind of scenes in my films to kind of replicate what he does, but I don't think I would have done so otherwise. That's probably an influence from him. But yeah, I think it's very much my own film because it's based off my own experiences. Lightly. This isn't a real story. This is a fantasy, So yeah, I would never try to replicate someone else's style or try to do something they did, or as much as I love the homage to another film, I did so in my previous film Difficulty Breathing with the opening, like it says like play loud at the beginning of Difficulty Breathing, which is just like a Tetsuo reference, and I'm fine with the odd reference and homage here and there, but I don't want to just try and copy another director's style.
For sure. So on those screenings, so it's screened in Osaka, Tokyo, and now it's starting to screen internationally as well. Yeah. So what has the experience been with those screenings so far? Yeah, like what's it like being in the room with a bunch of people watching it? At the Osaka one, you were like put on a pedestal, basically, like because you guys, because there was a Q&A after at the Osaka one. You and the main actress, I think, were just like lined up in a row, like sort of above, like so basically I could see the film playing, and then to the right you're just there, so we could see your reactions to it. That would be for me my worst fucking night.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. And I think that's because there was no other seats. Like it was a full house. I was like, I've got to fucking sit on the stage, Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I think at that time I was very, very uncomfortable because I'd only just finished it. So that was pretty intense. But every time it gets a little bit easier,
Yeah, like you had really freshly finished that, right? Like,
yeah,
because you were still
just days before.
Yeah, like literally right before. Oh, wow. Holy shit.
But yeah, it's been playing in other places. It's interesting to see how other different nations react to it differently. And different people's interpretations. I think that's the most fun thing that I take away from, you know, people's reviews and reactions and whatnot, is that because it's not a very, what's the word, like, linear story, it's not told black and white. There's a lot of room for interpretation, and there are a lot more interpretations than I thought when making it or writing it.
Right.
So, like, if I see someone's review, I'm just like, wow, this person interpreted it this way. That's interesting. I never would have thought of that.
Are some of those interpretations annoying sometimes, though, when it's, like, so far away from what you were thinking?
No, because at the same time, I'm just like, oh, I can see why you went there. And actually, that's kind of interesting. I like that. Yeah. And because, like, there's no... I haven't given a definitive answer as to what something, or the final part means. You know, it's absolutely fine for people to interpret it the way they like. It's yeah. And a lot of the times, well, at least so far, it's kind of been relevant and, you know, definitely applicable. So I like that.
I'm kind of jumping around a bit, but I wanted to go back to shooting it. So this film's all in Japanese. You speak Japanese very well, but it must have still been pretty stressful when you're, like, thinking about, you know, making a film is already, like, so fucking hard to do. And then you have to think, you must have had, like, communication kind of barriers there as well. What was that process like, directing in Japanese, a feature-length film?
Yeah. That was something I probably wasn't prepared for. Like, I wrote the script, and, you know, I wrote it in English and in Japanese, and my Japanese friend checked it for me, and I was like, that's fine, you know, okay, and I got the script, and they'll read that, and they'll just do as the script says, you know? But it was kind of all the other stuff, like creating shooting schedules and having to liaise with everyone, and I had to, like, liaise with the special effects artist and try to explain to the special effects artist what I needed, and then, like, renting studios and stuff, and the different locations. All of that shit whilst trying to concentrate on directing and filming, because I was filming it as well as directing. And so I was like, I need an assistant. I needed a bilingual assistant who could just take care of, like, that shit. Calling up for the studio that we're going to be filming in today. And, you know, just simple, like, you know, messages and phone calls back and forth between the actors, because I had to do all of that myself, and that was a lot of, I don't know, it was just very difficult to do myself, as well as, like, try to focus on the main point of trying to make this movie, you know. That was tough, and throughout filming, I realized that this is not possible to keep doing on my own. Everything that I've done up until this point, you know, my projects just keep getting bigger and bigger. You know, I started in my mum's garage filming The Road Maiden. That was very simple. You know, I would turn on the camera, which was on a tripod, walk in front of it, do my lines, turn it off again. Something that I could do myself. Difficulty Breathing, similar kind of thing. Just one actress in one room, me filming. Simple to do on your own. But when, like, the projects get bigger and you have, like, a dozen actors in the whole cast, you know, 5 or 6 different locations, it becomes something that you can't do on your own. And I learned that because I just didn't sleep at all for a good couple of years. Because I was just trying to, like, you know, talk to so many people and arrange so many different things. And that was definitely difficult for me.
So a couple of years. So, like, what, from start to finish, what's the timeline of this film?
4 years.
Wait, so what year did you first start writing it?
I think 2000, maybe 18 or something.
So then,
I think I had, like, the idea for it in 2018, and I was, like, writing scenes for it, and I would keep writing scenes, keep adding to it slowly. Like, it was not, like, full time. It was a very slow progression. And I had this, like, notebook with me, and I was just, like, writing down notes and ideas constantly throughout, like, I don't know, for a year or two. When I finally finished the script, I had some visa issues. I had to go back home to England and kept going back and forth. I lost, you know, half a year to a year for that. Then I came back, and then COVID kicked off, and I couldn't film due to COVID. So just everything just kept getting delayed. But during those like times, I kept adding more ideas, and I was able to flesh out the script a lot more. So in the end, it definitely helped. But it was just a very long process. And I think you're probably the same. Like once you're kind of working on something, that's all you think about. And so I would like go to bed, and all I would think of was cicadas. You know. And same during the editing process, you know, when you're editing, you just keep thinking about like the continuity and this and that. So
yeah, that's the worst part for me. It's like once you start editing and you notice like things that you fucked up that you probably only you will ever notice, right? Yeah. But it's like haunting, and you just have nightmares about it, and that will probably continue for years, like after making it. Yeah.
But I think that the big thing that I took away from it is, I can't keep doing it on my own, like. Unless I go back to more simple storylines, which is definitely something I like doing. I love single set films, but as long as I like keep expanding my projects, I need a bigger like team.
So pretty tough making this. What about, have you got any like, you know, kind of fun memories from making this as well?
Oh yeah, plenty. You know what? It sounds silly, but I loved filming all the dialogue stuff. I had so much fun filming the back and forth between Kaori and Q, the two co-workers. Loved all that. And some fun moments, like we did some guerrilla filming. We couldn't get permission. We didn't ask for permission. So a lot of the times, like for certain scenes, we had to kind of like duck in and out of shops or wherever we were. That was kind of exciting because we were clearly being watched by the staff, and they were clearly thinking, how are they going to speak to this white guy and tell him in English, like, you can't film here? And I was trying to, like, direct the action, like, just hurry the fuck up. So that was kind of fun.
It's an advantage of being a foreigner making a film.
It is, yeah. Walking around, like, these home stores with Kaori, like, covered in blood. Just completely like covered in scars and scratches and blood. Just walked in as if nothing happened and started, you know, took out the camera. That was good fun.
I remember when she was like covered with all that makeup and getting lunch. It must have been that second day, and just because when you're making something, you kind of forget that someone's covered in makeup, right?
Yeah.
And I remember going to buy some bentos and just all the staff being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. There's actually a great shot of, in the making of, there's a making of documentary in the new Blu-ray, and we're walking towards the lunchbox shop, and there's just this old man in the background who stops, and his mouth is wide open, and he just stares at Kaori the whole time. He's just like, and he's like there, gobsmacked. It's great. Yeah, that was great. I like the people's reactions. All the gore stuff was good fun. Yeah.
It's always exciting.
Was good fun to do. Like when it gets very visceral. That was great. Great to film.
I think like as well, like on that second day, so I was only there for 2 days. Actually, maybe the first day, because your friend Q, who's in it, was the first time she's acted.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
right? And it was just being an outsider looking in on that. It was like quite amazing to see how well she was doing that and how natural she was. And yeah, I think like the way you worked with actors must have been pretty enjoyable as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the great thing about Q, I actually wrote that character based on Q. So the place that we filmed in, Q used to work there, and I had already got permission to film there. So when I was thinking about characters and what kind of person would be here, in my mind, I just had someone like Q.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I wrote the character based off her. And I was like, right, who the hell can play Q?
Yeah.
And I was like, Q, can you play yourself? Like, can you be a characterized version of yourself? And she was like, yeah, all right. I've never done anything like that before, but I'll give it a go. And lo and behold, she does a pretty good Q.
It's lucky though, right? Because some people, you know, I've had people in my life where I'm like, God, they're so like like they would be great on camera, they'd be so good, but the moment you turn the camera on, they completely become someone else and they can't do it. And they just look awkward. They may as well be looking at the camera because, like, that's how awkward they are on camera. But yeah, she is not like that at all. She's basically just able to be herself on camera, which is quite a rare skill to have, I think. But yeah, I think she's really fantastic in the film for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the nice things that was said from reviews after the first few screenings. Like people saying, they love the back and forth between the two characters, and I've never really written characters well. Like I've never really written much dialogue in any of my films, and I've never written much characters that show or have a particular personality. So I think this was the first time I actually tried to kind of make a character. And even though in Q's instance it's based off herself, but like in other instances I had to kind of make up people, which has never been my strong point. So that's been a nice learning curve for me as well. Yeah, but Q does a good Q.
And Han, who is like the monster, the villain of the film, you've worked with him quite a lot. He's a good lad. He is quite a character. I've worked with him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's in my Tokyo music video. Yeah, and he's a very unique guy. Do you want to talk a little bit about working with Han?
Do you know where I met Han? Did I tell you?
I don't know if I do, actually.
I met him at the Shit Film Festival.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. I think we've already talked about this. What year is this?
2016.
16. Okay. And did you go again with him?
Probably. Yeah, the following year, yeah.
Sorry, this is a little... I'll try to be quick because I don't want to derail, but like, do you remember I told you I went to the Shit Film Festival maybe 2017?
Yeah.
Or 2018. And I remember being there and seeing some gaijin guy.
Some fucking white guy.
Some gaijin with a Japanese guy.
Right.
And me and Tana and our friends were just like, what the fuck? That's quite weird to see like a foreign guy there. And that was definitely you.
Oh.
But that was like 2 years before I actually met you.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It was fate.
Yeah. So you met him at Keigo or Kago
Shintaro's Shit Film Festival, yeah.
Shit Film Festival.
This was not just, a month after arriving in Japan.
What? Hang on. The Shit Film Festival, it's not for shit films, right? Yeah. It's for films about shit.
So for clarity, yeah.
Just to be clear.
Shintaro Kago, famous manga artist, every year he does a Shit Film Festival in Japan, and it's all like short films with the theme of shit. But they're all like comedies, animations, like you're not allowed real shit. So it's not like a scat porn festival.
Right,
it's just
a
light-hearted, silly film festival. Everything is based on poo. And I actually went to the venue Loft Plus One West, which is where I ended up premiering The Sound of Summer. And I went there initially, literally as soon as I arrived in Japan, because I heard they were doing a VNR planning event. And VNR, the big porn label that also did the Mad Video stuff. So they released Faces of Death in Japan. They released the Guinea Pig films. And I went to buy a ticket for that. And the manager was like, oh, maybe you'd like this ticket as well. And I was like, oh, shit, Shintaro Kago. All right. So anyway, I bought that just on a, by chance. Ended up meeting Han there. And I thought, well, he's an odd man. And not just him, there was a group of people. We all ended up drinking or became friends after that. And I initially only planned to stay in Japan for a year. And for that first year, I wanted to just make something. I wanted to just try and make something, a movie. And it was then when I made Difficulty Breathing and asked Han to be in that. And I had so much fun making Difficulty Breathing that I wanted to kind of expand on that concept. And that's what became The Sound of Summer.
Right.
So, and Han essentially reprised his role in Difficulty Breathing as the kind of maybe human, maybe not entity that torments the female lead. So, yeah, he is kind of my go-to guy for scary men.
He is, it's so funny because I saw Difficulty Breathing before I met you and before I met Han. Yeah, I remember watching it and being absolutely fucking terrified of Han because he's so frightening in that film. But then when you meet him, he's just... I don't know how to describe him, but he's not terrifying. That's not the word I would use.
That's where he's always dancing.
Yeah. He's just this quite a gentle, nice, odd man.
Yeah. He's a good man. I love Han. He's such a good dude.
And he does a great job in The Sound of Summer as well.
I think that was also quite a complex role for him to play because he has to kind of play both the victim and the villain simultaneously.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, without giving too much away, there's a scene involving a flashback of his character that's, I think really adds a very interesting layer to it. And yeah, he handles that very well. Yeah.
I'm glad, yeah.
So it's coming out from Unearthed, but are there other releases in the pipeline as well?
Yes, so it has been released in Japan through our mate, Eggy. Shout out to Eggy. Video Violence releasing. So actually, we're doing a big kind of box set thing for that. There's going to be like props used in the film in there. Not only that, there's actually like alternative ending included in this Blu-ray. Yeah. So I actually shot a scene for the last scene, which I ended up not including in the main cut.
Right.
But after the film ends, there's essentially another scene. An alternative
I didn't
ending.
know about this. All right, that's interesting.
So that's kind of I've given that to the Japanese label, so they'll release that along with like some awesome props from the films and like a booklet and this kind of stuff. So so that's gonna be the big kind of collector's thing.
Yeah.
I've got an Italian release lined up and a German one lined up as well.
Nice.
Yeah, things are slowly moving out. I think it should be available in a variety of regions.
But the first release is this Unearthed one.
Yes.
Coming out next week.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that release? We've said the talk show is on it.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. Is there anything else that's of note on this release?
There's so there's the film, there's the making of, which is like I think 50 minute documentary behind scenes. There's the premiere, which we did in Osaka at Loft Plus One West, the place where I met Han. And you, apparently.
Yeah, well, not
didn't
met,
me,
just
but
saw each other.
I was looked at.
Fucking legend.
which is good fun because, that was literally as soon as I finished editing it. And we have the pre-screening talk and then the Q&A with all the cast members after, which was great. And then we have the Tokyo talk show with Shozen Fukui.
Nice.
So it's a pretty beefed out release.
Yeah. Awesome. Nice.
Yeah. So plenty to watch for a 75-minute movie. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So where should people get their pre-orders? You mentioned Diabolic.
It's kind of out everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. If you search Sound of Summer, Unearthed Films, there's a dozen different places you can pick it up from. And I assume it's going to be in shops as well in America.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, as a fellow low-budget filmmaker, like, if you like the film, so if you buy it, you like it, just, like, post a bunch of stuff about it and, like, share it around, do reviews, because, like, and probably send you a message as well and let you know what you thought about that. Because
send me a message.
I think people underrate like how much it means to get that kind of feedback. Like whenever I get a message about my film, it's just, no matter nice messages, not the hate stuff, but like when I get that, it's really heartwarming to get that. So if you like the film, this is, as Guy said, it's not even micro budget.
It doesn't count.
It's below that.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it your support and spread the word around because it's a fucking great film.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's kind of surreal to have it released in such a big manner.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Everything prior to this, I've only released myself. So to have it picked up by a big DVD company, and not only like any company, the company that has introduced me to so many films that I love. Like, they release shows of Fukui's films, like the Guinea Pig films. There's so much of their catalog that has been an influence for me. So to be kind of, released alongside so many films that I love is a big thing for me. I'm very grateful for that. And it's even though it's like 10 years since I first started making films, this is the first big thing to happen for me as a director. So, yeah, curious to see where it leads. Curious to see people's feedback. And like you said, yeah, send me a message if you liked it.
Yeah. If you didn't like it, just don't send a message.
You can block me.
Yeah, you're right, though. I think Unearthed is like kind of the perfect company to put this out as well. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Anything else you wanted to add before you wrap things up on this moosh boosh?
I'm, you know what? Initially, I was thinking to do a trilogy of these kind of things. Of have like Han as the means of women's trauma. But I don't know, and I would like to finish off the trilogy, but I feel like I'm gonna have to do something different for a little while, something completely different before I step back into this kind of thing.
Sure.
But it is something I would love to finish off.
Nice.
On a much bigger scale. I will need
huge budget film.
I'm gonna need to get that translator, that bilingual person to help me. But anyone who picks it up, thank you very much. Any kind of support, picking it up, doing reviews, like Dave says, sending me a message, any support whatsoever is very, very much appreciated. At the end of the day, I'm still just one guy, So any sort of support in any means whatsoever is really, really appreciated.
Nice.
So It's just a week
away.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I can say for my last thing.
Yeah.
The last thing as a little happy moment. When I did premiere, when I screened this in Tokyo, I got given a bottle of wine from Shosen Fukui. Oh. Yeah, he was like, this is for you, and it was like a decent bottle of red wine.
That's nice.
So I think when this gets released on my release day, I'm gonna have my bottle of wine.
That's very nice.
I'll have a little cheers. Yeah.
Just alone crying, gulping it down.
Why would I cry?
Happiness.
Happiness. Oh, it is a happiness. Yeah.
Wine dribbling down your mouth.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's that.
Nice. Get Sound of Summer on Blu-ray. Get your pre-orders in. It's only a week away. Go for it.
Get involved. Thank you very much, everyone.
And we'll be back next week for a regular episode.
Oh.
And as always, follow us on Show Me's... Oh, no, not that. That's not right. Follow us on SMSW Podcast at Twitter. And you can also send us an email at showmesomethingwrong@gmail.com. And maybe follow Guy on Twitter as well if you want updates on Sound of Summer stuff. So your Twitter is Vomit Self.
Yeah. Vomit Self with 2 S's.
2 S's, yeah. Is that the best place for people to follow you?
Or what should I do? I actually have a Facebook. It's like Sculpting Fragments Productions. But yeah, Twitter at Vomits Self, or Instagram. I have Instagram, Sculpting Fragments Instagram.
There you go. Yeah.
So there's plenty of places to get information. My Twitter is primarily in Japanese at the moment, but it's kind of also the one that I use the most at the moment because everything else is kind of ruined.
Just follow all of them.
Just follow me everywhere. Give me a search. I'm around. You'll find me.
And get those pre-orders in.
Yes. And make this your summer movie.
Oh, yeah.
As the summer rolls around, you know what I want to do? Watch The Sound of Summer.